What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying from Dallas Fort Worth to Albuquerque. We're going to be flying the PMDG 737. We're flying a real flight, which is flight American Airlines 942. If you want to look that up on FlightAware, you'll be able to see the flight that we're doing. Here is the flight path that we're going to be flying. It's not too long. It's about an hour and 45-minute flight, something along those lines. Pretty easy. We're flying a departure and an arrival. I'll go ahead and move this back over here. We do have the scenery here, which you can see the tram driving by up there, which is pretty cool. I haven't done anything in the plane, so let's go ahead and hop inside the plane and we'll start our pre-flight checklist. So first thing we got to do is make sure our parking brake is set. So we'll go ahead and set that. Let me get my joysticks turned on too. I forgot to do that. There we go. All right, and battery switch. We'll go overhead. We'll get our battery switch turned on, and our electric hydraulic pumps can come on as well, and get established on our ground power. We're now on the ground power, so we'll check that our landing gear lever is down. Our speed brake is forward. We can do our APU and fire warning tests. Make sure lights light up. Extinguish that out. Good. And we'll all lit up. Extinguish that. Extinguish that. Looks good to me. What else we got? We got position lights. We'll go overhead here. Make sure our position lights are on. Our wing lights can come on as well. Our engine bleed switches are already on. We'll set our IRSs to nav. Our yaw damper will turn on in a little bit. Our emergency exit lights can come on. Our no smoking and our seatbelt signs can come on. Let's see. Flap lever is forward. Speed brake lever is forward. Galley switch and window heats. Galley switch is right here. That is on. Window heats 1, 2, 3, and 4 can come on. Probe heats can stay off. And we are ready to start programming our plane, our FMC. The first thing we'll do is head into FS actions. We'll go to payload, and we need to grab our zero fuel weight, which is 108.0 today. So just 108. We'll do 108.0. We'll put it in there. We'll clear out this message. We'll go return. We'll go fuel. Today our block fuel is looking like 13,902. We'll put that in there. We'll go return FMC, and we're ready to do our position and our flight plan. So first thing we're going to do is KDFW. It's going to be our reference airport. We'll go to the next page. We'll grab our GPS left. We'll come back and we'll paste it in here. And that tells the computer where we are. So head over to route. We'll put KDFW up here. KABQ can go up here. Flight number again is going to be American Airlines 942. And that will go here. Runway we're going to be departing off of is 17 right. So we'll drop that in here, and we'll go ahead and go to next page, and we'll start inputting our flight plan. First waypoint we're going to is Hulze, Hulze. Hulze. We'll put that in there. TXO is going to be the next one. TXO. And one more waypoint, which is Recon or Recon. Reckon. RECKN. RECKN, and we'll put that in there. That's going to be our flight plan. We'll go activate, execute, departure. Departing, we're going to be flying the Harper 3 off of 17 right. Let's find the Harper 3. There we go, Harper 3. We're going to be doing the Hulze transition, 17 right. We'll go ahead and execute that. Departure, arrival. We'll head over to arrival. We're going to be doing the Coulter 4 for runway 8. There we go. Coulter 4, runway 8, the Recon transition, and ILS 8. And that should be good. All right, we'll execute that. We'll head to legs. Just back out here, and we'll set this to plan mode. We'll step our way through this to make sure everything looks right. We'll do that now. Looks good so far. All right, looks good. And then we'll get up here, we'll vector ourselves over and line up with the runway. So everything here looks good. Set this back to map mode. And we'll come back down here and we'll head over to init ref and we'll put in some information here. Again, our zero fuel weight today is, what are we at? 108. So we'll put that in first, 108 and the zero fuel weight. We did 0.5 in reserves, 500 pounds. Our cost index today is 9. We're going to be cruising at, I think it was 34,000. 340. We'll drop that in here. Let's get our cruise wind at 340. We're looking at 283 at 042. 283 042. We'll drop that in there. Go ahead and execute. We'll head over to N1. We're going to do takeoff configuration 1, flaps 5. We'll grab our trim 5.3. We'll head over to the next page. Let's grab our MEDAR. No MEDAR available for real. Okay. Looks like we'll have to do it on my other screen here. So let me pull up the ATIS. I don't usually have that problem. But let's pull it up here. KD, let's see. KDFW. So we're looking at winds are 290 to 11 knots and altimeter's 2985. So 290 to 11. We'll put that in there and then we'll head back. We can get V1, VR, and V2. 130 is going to be our V2. Everything looks good here. Our altimeter again was 2985. So let's go ahead and set that. 2985. There we are. All right. And we need to put a little bit more information in the plane. And then we will be good for our before start checks. We're moving along pretty well here. All right, let's take a look at our arrival. So runway 8. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's put this up to 34,000. That's going to be our altitude. Let's go overhead here. We'll set this at 34,000. Let's figure out what our altitude here is. Give me a second. Let me pull it up on a chart here. Where is the chart? There we go. Airport info. 606 is our airport elevation. So we'll go ahead and put that in here. We'll do 670 or 650. Right? 606. No, we'll do 600. All right, we got that set. Let's jump down here. We could put in some of this information. We could do 132. While we're here, we're departing runway 17 right, which is going to be a heading of 176. So we can put that in here. There we go. And our course, we could get our approach information if we wanted to. Normally you would do this later, but we could always do it now. Approach runway 8, right? Yeah, we're doing 8. All right, final approach course is 079. Localizers 111.9. Airport elevation, pretty high up there, 5,355 feet. And our landing barometer is going to be 207 on the radio or 5527 on the barometer one. Barrel. We're going to do 207, I think, though, because it's going to take forever to scroll up to 5527. All right, so let me move that over. All right, we'll start with down here. It's 111.9. We'll go ahead and move that over. 111.9. We'll move that over. Final approach course again was 079. So we'll get that up to 079. We'll do the right one as well. I swear these should be linked. I thought I've linked them. Maybe that's on the A320 that I did that. And everything else looks good as far as that goes. I think we are ready to start our, like, the legs. Our before start checks. I think we're probably good to go. All right, before start checks, FMC is programmed. Flight directors 1 and 2 can come on. Auto throttle switch is off. IAS Mach indicator, we set that. Heading selector, we set that. Altitude selector, we set that. Autopilot disengage bar is up. Thrust levers are forward. Stabilizer trim, we did not set stabilizer trim, so let's figure out what that was. That's going to be 5.3. That looks about good to me. All right, stabilizer trim is set. Auto brakes can be set to RTO. APU, we can start. APU is coming to life. We'll let that come up and come to life. While we're doing that, let's take a look at the ground chart here and figure out where we need to taxi. Airport, is it this one? There we go. There we are. All right, that's where we are. And 17 right is up here. All right, cool. So we'll just back out and head to Lima. And we can take Lima all the way up to the runway. Pretty easy taxi today. All right, let's see where we're at with this. This is about to stabilize. We'll come up here. We'll get our APU bleed switch turned on. We'll do our generator, or not our generator, our TCAS right here. We'll do a test. While we're doing that, we'll run these tests. Everything's looking good to me.
TCAS test pass.
All right, and we are now ready to go on our APU generator. So 1 and 2. We're now off the ground power. We're on our APU. So we'll do our before pushback checks. Let's check our fuel, see if we're going to be using both tanks. We're not. We're using just the outer tanks, so we can leave the 2 middle ones alone. We'll get these ones turned on. APU generator switches on. Seatbelt signs are confirmed. Flight deck doors and windows are locked. Anti-collision lights can come on, and ground equipment can get disconnected. So we'll head to menu, FS actions, ground services, and we'll release everything. We'll head back over to legs. And I think we are ready for our push and start. I forget how to get into, there we go. All right, so we're going to be going that way. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the buttons here. All right, so we're going to push back onto this taxi line, and we're going to be going this way and taxiing out onto, I believe this one. There might be one more closer. I have to look once we get there, but we are ready to start our pushback. So we can select our right engine start. We'll go ahead and start our pushback. We'll release our parking brake, and we'll get our right engine going. Turn this on so that we can see our N1s or N2, and we'll wait to introduce fuel. This scenery is definitely beautiful, but very heavy on the GPU. All right, we'll give it some fuel. Should be pushing back here in just a second. There we go. You hear that engine coming to life? Oh yeah, and we have to set on our radio. I think it was 200. We'll double check that later, but I think it was 200. Again, I'll double check that. I think that clicked off. Yeah, we can get our second engine going. It was 207. There we go. So we have that set. Second engine is coming to life here. We can go ahead and stop our pushback here. And we'll get our brake back on. There goes that tram. All right, we're waiting for that to click off, and we'll do our after start checks. Oh, I guess we gotta feed it the fuel. There we go. Hear it coming to life. Probably even see it. This engine. All right, that engine's coming alive. And I believe everything is good to go. There we go. That just clicked off. So let's do our after start check so engine generator switches can come on. 1 and 2. All right, APU bleed switch can come off. APU can come off. Probe heat switches 1 and 2 can come on. Yaw damper can come on. We'll do a master system recall. Everything's good there. Pack switches left and right and isolation valve can all be set to auto. There we go. Transponder we can set to mode C. There we are. Taxi checks. Taxi lights can come on. 1, 2, and 3. Runway turnoff lights can come on. Flaps can be set to 5. Flight controls. Left, right, forward, back, and rudder. We're all good and we're ready for taxi. So we go ahead and release our parking brake. Give ourselves a full right rudder. Give me a second here. Let me just pull up that taxi chart again so I can see where we're going. There we go. Move it back over here. There we are. All right, we'll give ourselves some throttle and we're gonna go full right rudder. Beautiful scenery. That's for sure. All right, there we are. So we're gonna follow this taxi line. We're gonna try and get to Lima, and we'll take Lima all the way down to runway 17 right at Echo Golf. Lima to Echo Golf. If you guys are enjoying this, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment. If there's somewhere you want me to fly, let me know. I'll try and make it happen. I have a couple on the list that I have to do. And I have been flying on VAT Sim lately, so we should be flying with ATC very soon. And that should be fun. All right, I need to go over to the right more. I don't think I'm even on the actual taxiways yet. There we go. Now I am. I don't like that these are just like the yellow lines aren't curved at all to direct me in any direction. They're just perpendicular lines. Anyway, we're gonna go right here. And then... yeah, okay, then we go left here. And this is going to be Lima. And we're going to take this all the way down to 17 right. To give ourselves a little more throttle. There we go. We got our speeds up just a little bit to get ourselves down there. Let's switch to a left view while everything's loading in. Very, very good looking airport, that's for sure. Let's stay on that center line. I always do that. I always drift off when I try and go into those window views, which is annoying. All right, so we got a little bit of, I feel like I'm getting hit by wind or something. Like it's pushing me to the left. But I think it was only like 6 knot winds, right? Or 11. No, it was 290 at 11. I don't know if that's enough to push me around on the ground though, but I definitely feel like something's pushing me around a little bit. Anyway, this is Echo Juliet. We're about to cross over. Yeah, I'm giving lots of right rudder to keep this on that yellow line. You can see it down here. I keep drifting off to the left. Bring that back up. All right, so we're not too far off here. We're getting pretty close. I want to go back here and I want to cycle through these so that I can be in a right wing, because when we take off, the airport's going to be off to the right. And if I remember, I'll do a quick view out of the wing as we take off. All right, give ourselves a little more throttle. Try to manage the wind's pushing us around a little bit. All right, so not this right, but the next one is going to be where we jump on the runway. Nice little roundabout here. Bring our engines down back to idle. Just kind of let it drift along. We're gonna be making a right up here in just a minute, right after the windsock. All right. Come up to the yellow lines here. We'll follow the yellow line over this one right here. And we are ready to line up. Slow down a little bit. We'll start this turn. All right, our before takeoff checks. Go ahead and hold short here for a second. Our auto throttle can come on. Our engine start switches can go to continuous. Transponder we already have set. Strobe lights and landing lights can come on. So we'll do strobes. Well, strobes on. Landing lights can come on. And we're ready to line up. So let's give ourselves some throttle. We'll pull out onto the runway. And we're just about ready to get out of here. And here we go. All right, we're ready for departure. So we'll just go ahead and roll ourselves right into a departure. So here we go. Kicking in left rudder. Now that we're opposite, I'm getting pushed the opposite direction. Cross check, get the nose down.
V1, rotate.
Rotating. Left rudder, straighten it out.
Positive rate of climb.
Go ahead and gear up. Nose down a little bit. There's a wing view. Adios. Jump back up here. And our flaps can come all the way in. And we can go ahead and go LNAV, VNAV, and toggle on our autopilot here. It should be turning right. I don't know why. Oh, I guess we're not ready to turn right yet. All right. Landing gear can be set to the off position. Flaps are all the way in. Taxi light switches can come off. Autopilot is on and auto brakes can be set to off. Let's go back into a wing view. Very windy. It was a little windy pushing me around up there today. But aside from that, not a bad departure. Pretty good. As soon as we lifted off the ground, I had the plane start tilting a little bit on me, or leaning a little bit on me, so I kicked in that rudder to correct it. But for the most part, not a bad departure. We'll jump back up front, make sure there's no bells and whistles going off. We are good. Jump into a left wing view. Good departure so far. We're at 5,500 feet and climbing. Climb checks, we'll do around 10,000 feet. We got a little bit more ways to go. jump back up here, jump into a right wing view. Looks so good, looks so real. Just gonna complete this turn here. There we are. You can see the airport just off our wingtip there. Go ahead and jump back up front. We're at 9,500. Go ahead and get our landing lights turned off. Our engine start switches can go back to the off position. And we can go ahead and toggle our seatbelt sign off as well. Good flight so far. All right, we're over 10,000, so we're pitching for our speed now, because speed increase over 10,000. So we're about to hit our speed. One thing we didn't do, which we can do if we want to, is we can head into the fix, do KABQ, drop that in here, and we'll do /5 miles and /10 miles. What did that say? Unable 270 knots. Unable 270 knots. Let's take a look at that. At what waypoint? Oh, that's 270. That's on our descent, I think, right? A little target speed, descent. All right, I don't remember how to fix that, but I know it has to do with 270 to 249. I can change it to 270, I think, and then put it back down to 240, maybe. Let me see. No, I don't remember how to fix that. So we'll put this back to 240. Execute. Let's take a look at that. So at Snoop, it wants us at flight level 270. I don't know why it can't do that. But let's take a look at the chart here. Snoop 270 down to 210. I don't think there's any reason why it can't do that. All right, well, what we'll do is we'll just, if we have to go into a manual mode to bring our speed down, we could do that once we're there. But I don't see why that would be an issue. We're over 18,000 feet. We'll go ahead and toggle into standard mode, and we'll jump up in the front window and start our time lapse here. Make sure everything else is good. Yep, all our checks are good. Jump up in the window, and I will see you guys when we're closer to our descent. I hope you guys enjoy the flight. All right, guys, welcome back. We have started our descent. We are at 30,000 feet. Actually, it looks like we're a little bit high, but we're catching up to it pretty quickly. So we're doing just fine. I'll zoom this back out a little bit. Here's a look at the chart and where we are. The flight went pretty well. Slight turbulence, nothing too crazy. Pretty good. We're coming up on that 270 knot restriction, which... Okay, so I guess we can go into manual speed mode and set it to that. But I think what we need to do is go into descent and change this to /270 for our target speed, and then change it back to 240 once we cross over that next waypoint. I think that's how we can correct that. We'll see what happens. We'll leave it like that for now. If that doesn't work, then I'm not really sure how you would fix that. But it sounds like the engines are coming up a little bit. Maybe it's going to push us down some. We'll see what happens here. And we're also a little bit below our glide slope, but looks like we're catching up to that as well. So everything seems to be okay. Let me pull up on my other window, excuse me, the arrival information for ATIS and everything. We're at 27,000 feet. Yeah, so our speeds definitely came up. We're going to cross, once we cross Snoop, we can set our speeds back to normal. Now, I'm not sure if that's the correct way to do it, but that is the way that I did it. So here we are coming up on Snoop now. And once we cross that, we can put it back down to 240, which looks like we're just about to cross that. So /240, we'll set that here. That's going to affect our glide slope. So now we need to slow down. And it looks like the plane is slowing down on its own. We can give a little bit of speed brake. That's a new situation for me, so I'm not 100% sure if that was exactly the right way to handle it, but hopefully it was. We could have just gone into manual speed mode as well, but our next speed is going to be 250. Let's go into our legs mode here. Yeah, 250. So 250 is going to be our next target speed, which, yeah, I thought it was going to say that. So we need to set this to /250, not 240. Execute that. There we go. That should fix that. Looks like we should, we'll add some more speed brakes. We need to get our altitude down by about 1,600 feet, which shouldn't be too hard. It looks like it is starting to come down. And we'll get right back on that descent path, and we should be just fine. I'm going to pull up the chart for runway 8. And it looks like our intercept altitude is going to be 6,300. So that's going to be our target altitude after we make that right-hand turn. We're going to try and get down to 6,300. Everything else is good. We can start our descent checks. We are descending. Where are we at? We're at 24,000. So we'll go ahead and toggle on our seatbelts just to let people know, get ready for landing. Air conditioner and everything is fine. Engine start switches, we'll set those to continuous in a minute, but for now we need to jump down here. We're gonna do flaps 30, 126 plus 5. That's where we're gonna be landing. 131 is gonna be our speed, and we are catching up to our glide slope. Looks like we're doing pretty good. We're at 500 feet above it, so I'll be able to release my speed brakes here in a moment. Got some snow-capped mountains out there. That's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and release our speed brakes, and we'll let the plane manage it from here. Let's also find out if we're getting off on runway 8, where do we need to get off when we land? So runway 8, okay, so we're gonna get off to, is this the terminal right here? General aviation, yeah, so terminals are right here. And the aprons are over here. So we'll get off on the left, and we'll take that all the way down to these terminals here. All right, so left side is where we're getting off, which is runway 8. Should be this one, right? Or is it this one? No, this is 12. Okay, yep, runway 8. All right, good. Pull this chart back up. We'll move this back over. onto my other screen there. All right, everything is looking good. Now remember, we are at an elevation, so our altitudes aren't exact from ground or from sea level. This is at a 5,000 elevation, so if I need to be at 6,300 to intercept, that's only 1,000 feet off of the ground. So right now we're at 19,000 minus 5,300 is what we are from the ground. Let's give a little more speed brakes. I want to get my altitude back to where it's supposed to be, about 300 feet above it. I want to capture that again. We're coming up on our transition altitude, and our altimeter is going to be 3024, so we can go ahead and change that now. We'll set this to 3024. There we are. Set our engine start switches to continuous. And everything's going pretty smooth now. You see the rings that we made to show our 10-mile and 5-mile mark from the airport. We're going to fly past the airport like we did in previous videos. Go ahead and release my speed brakes now. We're going to fly right through this little mountain range here. Right through this little opening. And I'd say we'll probably be on the ground within the next 10 to 15 minutes at most. I don't even think it's going to be 15 minutes. I'd say probably like 10 minutes. We'll wait till we get a little bit lower to start doing our approach checks. But we are stable. We're at the correct speed. Our altitudes are good, and we're back on our descent path, our glide slope and everything. Take a look over here. Forget which one. Not that one. So it's got to be this one. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted. There we are. There's our glide path here. So that looks good. We're following that pretty well. Coming right in between these mountains here. I guess at the lowest point of the mountains. We have everything set. We have our course set. We have our frequencies set. We have everything pretty much ready to go for landing. All we have to do is capture it. Now, like I said, we are going to fly past the airport and then do a manual vector. As you can see right here, this is our last waypoint going in this direction. So we're just going to continue flying a downwind. And once we get up to about here, we'll start that right-hand turn and look for an intercept on the glide slope. Or the localizer, I guess. Probably going to get a little bit of wind off of these mountains, I'd imagine. So it might get a little bumpy. All right, down to 13,000 minus 5, so we're pretty low, 7,000 feet maybe, somewhere around there. Minus 5,300 at least. All right, so we should have the airport in sight pretty soon. I think that might be it. No, is that it? No. Maybe it just didn't render in yet. Oh, over here maybe? Yeah, that looks like the airport right there. So it's, you can see the runway lights. We're going to be flying past it though. Zoom this in a little bit more. There we are, coming right over those mountains. We're on a nice smooth descent. We're gonna hold our altitudes at 10,000. I'm not gonna go any lower until we get a little bit past. Maybe a little bit. We can go to, we'll say 8,000. Is that a runway right there? I don't know what that is. Potentially a small airport. I think you might be able to see the airport now. Yep, there it is. Starting to come in, render in. There's the mountains. I guess this is downtown Albuquerque. Or maybe not downtown, but you know, Albuquerque. All right. Just continue monitoring everything. We can go ahead and get our landing lights turned on. Landing lights are on. Auto brakes we can set to 2. System recall, we are good. Speed brakes, go ahead and arm those. Flaps, landing gear, and taxi light switches is what we have left. Once we start that turn, we'll do some flaps. We'll get some flaps going, but we don't have to do that just yet. There's the airport. Right on the edge of town. Just continue along here. ABQ is going to be, or no, this one is going to be the waypoint we need to intercept. So we're going to bring this way up here, probably up to about here, outside this 10-mile ring, and that's when we're going to start that right turn. Because I like to intercept at about a 45-degree angle, or close to. I just don't like to come in perpendicular to the waypoint. It's crazy how sandy it is out here in desert and then just green. That's interesting. Oh, it's probably because of that river. All right, so we are past that waypoint. And we will start that right turn. Not yet, but you'll be able to see when I bring it up here. You'll see the angle that it's going to bring us into that waypoint. So once we hit around this 10-mile mark, maybe slightly outside of it, we'll go ahead and execute that turn. I don't know why. Oh, I guess our speeds are down. All right, we can go ahead and execute that turn. We can start introducing flaps. We'll go 2 notches of flaps. And we can bring this down to 6,300. And there we are. Another notch of flaps. We do have our glide slope and our localizer here.
Final altimeter.
All right, so we're looking for an intercept on the localizer, and we're gonna try and capture the glide slope at the same time. If we don't capture it, we'll go ahead and go into manual flight, and we'll just hand fly it down. But I think we'll be okay. We should be able to get a nice capture. I would assume that this is downtown Albuquerque as it clips in. All right, let's zoom this in one. And where's our flaps at? We can go one more notch of flaps before we have to do gear. We need to bring our altitude down. And turn on localizer. And there we are. We'll go ahead and toggle on our approach mode. Hopefully we'll capture that shortly too. Once we complete this turn, we're about 5 miles from the airport. We'll go ahead and drop our gear. We can go landing lights or runway turn-off lights and taxi lights can come on. There we are. We're going to drop our gear. We should go into manual speed mode here in just a minute. There it is, manual speed mode. We'll bring our speeds down. We'll bring our flaps down more. What was our landing speed? I don't even remember. 126. We bring this way down. All right, everything is good to go for landing. Our gear is down, landing lights are on, auto brakes are set, speed brakes is armed, flaps good, and taxi light switches. We're good to land. So we'll bring it down a little bit, and then I'll try and do a manual land. We'll toggle off the autopilot, and we'll just hand fly it down. We'll go ahead and toggle this off. All right, I am now flying the plane by hand. Try and follow that glide slope right on down.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Landing.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And we are down. We'll go ahead and go reverse thrust. Beautiful, beautiful landing. Nice hand landing right there. All right, looks like we'll be able to get off right here, which is great. Welcome to Albuquerque. What a great flight. All right, so we'll pull up here. And if I remember, we got to make this left here, but we'll pull up here, get out of the way, and we'll do our after landing checks real quick. There we are. So we'll stop right about here. All right, after landing checks, landing lights can come off. Strobe light can come off. Set that back to steady. Taxi lights, we'll keep those on. Flaps can be set back to normal. Speed brake lever can go down. Transponder can go back to standby. Engine start switches can be set to off. And APU can be started. All right, and we'll start our taxi. We'll go ahead and make our left here. Pull up the taxi chart. Yep, looks like we're gonna make a hard left and it'll be Alpha. We'll take Alpha all the way down to the terminals. All right, good flight. If you guys enjoyed that, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment. If you want me to fly somewhere, let me know. If you think somebody would like this video, be sure to share it with them. If you're not subscribed and you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so I can get to a point where I can make them all the time and still have all my bills paid. We'll get our APU bleed on. Our APU should be stabilizing here in just a second. There it is. So we're just gonna head straight down here to these terminals. These runway lights and taxi lines are like a little wonky. This airport seems a little messed up. It is the default scenery too, so I'm not sure why it's showing up like that, but it definitely doesn't seem right. Not too bad of a taxi. We're about halfway there. You can see the terminals down there. That's where we're going right there. We'll just keep on taxiing down. Beautiful mountains out there. It's definitely a beautiful place to live, I would think. Go outside and see those mountains every day. All right, yeah, so those are the terminals, the default scenery, which look disgusting, but what are you gonna do? Yeah, these taxi lines and everything seem to be real messed up. It's all right, we found our way. All right, so it looks like we're gonna just taxi our way. We'll just pull right into here. These jetways seem to be a little messed up too. As you can see, it's literally on the yellow line. So we're gonna pull up to it and we'll stop a little bit before it. You know what? We can even just go straight in right here. That yellow line or that jetway is in the wrong place. So we're gonna kind of navigate around it. There's one coming out of the building. Oh my goodness. All right, so we'll stop here. We'll go ahead and apply our brake. And we can go ahead and get set up on parking brakes, seatbelt signs, no smoking. They can come off. APU generator switches on. 1 and 2. So we're now on our APU generator. Fuel cutoff switches can go off. 2 and 1. Ground power we can get established. Let's come down here. Menu, FS, ground. Set chalks, request ground power. We'll let them connect that. We're waiting for ground power right here to light up blue. In the meantime, get our taxi light, runway turn off lights, wing lights, anti-collision lights can come off. We'll get on our ground power. We're now on ground power. So we can go ahead and toggle off our APU. Close our bleed. Set our packs back to the off position. Isolation valve to the closed position. Probe heats can come off. Window heats can come off. Yaw damper can come off. Pumps can come off. And everything else looks good. We can set ignition back to both. Electric hydraulic pumps can come off as well. And I think that's everything we needed to do. So that is our flight today. If you guys enjoyed that flight, like I said, drop a like, leave a comment. And if there's somewhere you want me to fly, let me know. Definitely hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next flight.